The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create queries. We're going to create queries. How do we do that? We have to go to create. The first thing we must look at is the instruction. So I'm going to just read out the instruction before I create query. So from the Microsoft Word document, which is number 6, you're going to see create a query that will use all fields in both tables, but only return purchase orders that have not been sold. Name it not sold. All right, so we go to create and we click on query design. As soon as you click on query design, you can see this platform has changed. You can use either drag and drop. You can drag the tables and drop them here, or you can add the tables using this part of the screen. So, and I'm going to use this add tables icon here. I'm going to click on Control key, and I'm going to highlight the 2 and click on add selected tables. So as soon as I do that, we have the SO table and we also have the products table. So I'm going to drag this down in order to see all the information. So it says use all fields in both tables. So for you to include the tables in this field, you just have to click on them, double click on each item you can see. So I'm just going to double click and I'm going to check if I have all. So I have order date, payments, quantity, I have the phone, supplier, and everything, which is good. So I want to create orders that are not sold. So I'm going to go under sold. Under sold, I'm going to set the criteria as a no. If you remember, the data type was yes or no. So I'm just going to say, give me a search for sold that has no attached to it. And I'm going to go up and run this. So as soon as I run it, it's going to give me an output of the product ID, product description that are not sold. So on the sold, you have to check, you must make sure none of these boxes are checked. If any of these boxes are checked, then something is not quite right with your work. So I'm just going to try to save this by closing apps, and I'm going to save it as not sold. So you can see the query here. So we have one query that is titled not sold. I'm going to add another query, which is number 7 in the Microsoft Word document. It says create a query named order that will return the SO, supplier, description, price, and other date for orders older than a certain date. So we have to choose the date ourselves. So I'm just going to go to create, query design, and I'm going to drag and drop the tables this time around. And I'm going to choose. So now we have SO, supplier, description, price, and we also have order date. And the order date, we have to set a criteria because it says name it older. So we have to pick a date. So the criteria will be, so I want to pick a date. I could pick 31st December 2022. I'm going to pick a date and say the date must be less than or equal to 12/31/2022. So less than or equal to 31st December 2022. Then I'm going to run this. When I run it, you will notice that I have the order dates and all other dates here, they are 2022. So we have December, you can see 12/12/2022, you have 12/4/2022, and that's this. So I'm just going to title it older. So I try to close it and apply it. And lastly, it says create a parameter query. So this is different from just creating query. This is creating a parameter query that will return all the fields from SO and the description from the products table. So let's do this. Create. And we must have the two tables again. So we have all the fields from SO. So let's see this: supplier, phone, quantity, payment terms, order dates, and sold. And also description from the product table. So let's check we have all of that. Yes, we do. She's good. So, and it says, but only for a certain product, you should be prompted for the product ID. How do we do that? So yes, we can get the supplier and say, okay, we need for maybe supplier of product 1 or supplier of product 2 or supplier of product 3. But before we do that, in order to create parameter, you must go to an empty column here, right click, click on zoom, and you're going to impute this formula. I'm going to just add SO, close bracket, dot, open bracket, products. This is like the tables that we have. And I'm going to click OK. So you can see it's here, but let me go and set the parameter here on the supplier. I'm going to say supplier for product, say product 4. So for product 4, I'm going to run this. As soon as I try to run it, it's going to say enter parameter value, enter parameter value. So here, I'm going to say it's 04 and click OK. So when I click 04, it's going to show table organizer. And that is product 04. If you check the product table, let's go on the product table. Product 4 is table organizer. You can see that, and it shows that. So I'm going to save this as okay. So I can close this. Each time you try to go to parameter, it's going to prompt you to enter a value. So here, I know it's 04, and I'm going to enter 04 and click OK. Then it's going to give me this. So that is how to create a parameter query. Please take note of this. So now we've been able to create queries. We've been able to use not sold, that is sales order that are not actually sold. We've been able to see sales order that are old as well, as well as specific product ID. We've been able to search using specific product ID, which is the parameter query. I hope this is clear. Thanks for watching.